What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rain Day, and thank you all for stopping by. Today, you know, Duos is on the horizon, and in fact, tomorrow it is going to be coming out in Apex Legends. Today, I want to talk about the 5 best duo compositions in the game. So you can get ready to get with your buddy, get with your homie, and get ready to get some dubs. Now, I do want to say, though, that I have a couple of announcements before we get into it, and also, this is a list that has a theme. The point is, I challenged myself. I had to say, okay, I'm going to make a theme for each of these duos. And unfortunately, one legend has to be left out because there's only 11 characters and 5 duos and 10 characters, you know what I mean? So Mirage, I'm sorry I have left you out of this duo list. However, it does not mean that he cannot be played. Any character can be played. You will just have to use him to the best of your abilities. And honestly, playing something that's comfortable to you is gonna be better than trying to do this list. All right, before we get into it though, please leave a like, enjoy it, and comment something down below, whether about the video or ask a question. I'm doing a Q&A that I want you guys to answer in the future. I'm gonna set that up for when I'm traveling later on this week to try to answer and get back to you guys. All right, let's talk about Duos. Duos is one of the best, I think, modes coming to Apex Legends in a while. And the first the first dynamic duo that I want to talk about is the New Kids on the Block. Now, New Kids on the Block, that would be our latest released 2 legends. That is Crypto and that is WATTSON. Now, Crypto and WATTSON are essentially tactical legends. They are so good at providing surveillance and holding down a defensive location. And I want to talk about the pros and cons of each of these lineups. Now, if you like to play a little safer, a little slower, get some information, this is probably the lineup for you in the duos tomorrow. Honestly, this team brings a lot of intelligence and information needed to win the battle. Their scouting with the Crypto's drone allows you to see enemies coming forward, and it also allows you to hold down the area that you are with WATTSON, allowing Crypto to be safer. It's a nice synergy between these 2 new kids because, yes, they're coming into Apex Legends a little bit late in the roster, but it does still mean that they have some synergies in the way you put them together. So I think this is going to be a really fun duo. The other thing that's great about this in the pro section for them is they've got late game viability. WATTSON is one of the best late game characters in the game, even after her nerfs, even after getting that low profile 5% extra damage that we'll talk about, which matters in these lists and putting these pairs together. She still holds down an area super well. They also have decent hitbox sizes, meaning they're not the biggest and they're not going to be the easiest to hit, and that is going to give you a lot of opportunities and just doing fairly in gunfights and not being taken advantage of and having to rely on that fortify bonus to just hopefully take and take that load of shots that are going to be coming your way. The other 2 things is that they synergize for 2 goals, not just 1. Some of these teams I'm going to mention have 1 big goal that they do really well, but they don't do anything else well. These 2 scout, they get you info, they have a little bit of pressure with Crypto's EMP, and of course WATTSON can hold down a building, and that allows you to have late game viability. The cons of this group though is that the aggressiveness is not where they succeed at all, and they have no mobility whatsoever. Like, pushing fights with these 2 is going to be tough. WATTSON, I mean, she could try to throw down that pylon in the middle of a fight, but you're kind of just hoping and praying at that point. She's not the type of character, and neither is Crypto, to go and rush in and try and, you know, take somebody by surprise, and that's why they do have a little bit of a con to them, but they're gonna be really good at those late games and those scouting things. All right, let's move on to another, really, this is going to be a fun one, man. I'm really excited about this video. Let's move on to the aggressive combination, Run and Gun. Now, Run and Gun is a combination of legends for Bangalore and Bloodhound, the 2B legends. I think that was also very appropriate. Run and Gun is essentially one of my favorite kind of styles of play because a lot of people like to play aggressive. And when you get a teammate, somebody that you know in duos, you're playing with a buddy or friend, you have that coordination, you have that communication. So running and gunning is actually a pretty, I think, going to be successful style. Now, we will see if anything changes about this. We'll see. I'll make maybe an updated version of this video, but right now let's talk about what they do well. High movement, baby. Bloodhound movement mid-fight is great. He's got his ultimate that was buffed in Season 3, and it allows him to get that extra 5% movement speed, so he's always being able to, or so they are always being able to use their vision and their speed to really pick up the right spot to be in a fight and chase down enemies. They have great potential scouting as well, with the tracking obviously coming through from Bloodhound's passive, and strong coordination of smoke and defense, but also allowing you to, within that smoke, see where people are coming from. That if you want to use his tactical ability and kind of get that eye of the All-Father to really just scout if anybody is approaching you behind a rock, etc., even though you're still hiding in the smoke and safe. They're aggressive, they have really good scapes, they have good intel, and they also have decent hitbox sizes. So overall, this is a really strong duo. They don't have a lot of defensive utility, which some of these other legend combos will have, but Bangalore, even though that rolling Thunder is used offensively as her ultimate, it actually can be used defensively really well, and is sometimes the most common way we see that show up. So despite not having the most pros, like they have really good pros, it's not the best at one thing, but it's not the worst at all. This is kind of like a team that can rotate and play well off each other. They can get in and out of fights quickly, and you know, unlike Team THICC or Team Intel, we'll talk about Team THICC coming up very, very soon. The con is that they don't really excel in anything particularly, more of like a jack of all trades, and of course running away, it's something that they do well, but pushing, again, nobody has that strength of push like you will see in some of these more aggressive legend combos, like, you know, Pathfinder. If you throw him in there, he could push better than any of these two legends. They do like that burst mobility that a grapple will provide. They do like that displacement, but they're very fast overall, so give them time and they will be able to close the distance or move to a great spot. No inherent defensive skills, and of course, this reminds me of a starting character in a fighting game. So like if you like Ryu in Street Fighter, think about that. Really good, no real weaknesses, no real incredible X Factor strengths, but a very good character that can still be played at high level. Now let's move on to one of the favorite combinations. I know everybody's gonna love this one. Team THICC. All right, so Team THICC, Gibraltar and Lifeline. No, I'm kidding. Gibraltar and Caustic, obviously. I had to throw the big boys in there. I just thought this would be a fun legend combo to talk about. It's not only the fact that they're probably very good, they both have the same passive, which I think synergizes well. We'll talk about that, but also it's just funny, right? It's just kind of funny. Not like making fun of anybody that's THICC. I like me some THICC. Trust me, I'm a THICC fan, but I'm just saying that those two are the biggest legends in the game, biggest hitboxes. It is kind of funny to see them running around in duos. Now, one of the amazing things about this is that they have Fortify, which gives you 15% damage reduction on all bullets hit, but that scales even higher when you have every legend on that duo squad in a 2v2 fight having that same passive. When you look at this, bullet wise, these are going to be, these two together, the hardest legends to kill as far as hitting as many bullets as you need to finish off their health and shields. However, it does come at a price. We'll talk about that in just a second, but essentially they can hold down space extremely well, and they are defensive legends that prove what it means to be defensive and offensive at the same time. Gibraltar got a huge buff and is now a very high level character, I think considered in that high level meta very well, and he's somebody that I would say is going to continue rising as people start to learn the best ways to synergize his new Dome of Protection, allowing that 25% healing passive. That's going to apply now to two of the tankiest characters in the game, already taking 15% less damage than you, and if you add the low profile bonus to, which gives you 5% more damage taken, which most of the good legends have, it's really a 20% damage difference that they're, you know, they're giving you 5% more, they're taking 15% less. It's a big swing. Times that by 2, it's a 40% difference in the amount of damage you got. I mean, you know, just add it together. You know, I'm just saying this. I'm not a math guy, but it's just a very, very hard thing to start to overcome as these fights wane on and on, now that they've got that healing passive as well. What else do they do well? Obviously, Caustic can hold a room. He's very comparable to WATTSON in that. One of the only characters you do not want to push, probably even a little bit more dangerous than WATTSON fences, but of course doesn't deal well with grenades or things like that, arc stars, thermites, and being able to shut those down with the pylon mid-air. Late game, they've got great assets to win these final circles. You've got the Gibraltar ultimate, that big ultimate that is just the defensive bombardment, getting a buff in terms of the distance you can throw it, getting a buff as far as his shield, how far you can throw that, and of course being able to survive under that while you rain chaos around you. Caustic has his gas bomb. You can even throw your gas bomb inside your defensive inside your dome of protection, and then be able to heal within it, knowing no one's in their right mind is going to push inside of that thing. There's a lot of really cool combinations you can do with this Team THICC. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to put them in the best duos in Apex Legends, and I think in duos mode this we're going to see. However, the cons is they are susceptible to being pushed. If you do not have that ultimate, Gibraltar Shield does give you that kind of green light, go and push them, they're low, and of course no movement skills at all. If you are caught out in the middle of an area, you don't have your shield, which is a long cooldown, you don't have any ultimates, you don't have any gas to try to, you know, kind of blur vision and make you a less navigatable target to try to find throughout your scope, then unfortunately you are hung out to dry. The other big issue is that they obviously have the biggest hitboxes in the game. And we've seen videos of this where you'll see a Wraith standing here behind a wall, poking, peeking. You'll see a Gibraltar standing here behind the wall, poking, peeking, and you can see the Gibraltar and hit him, and you can't see the Wraith. There's a huge difference in that, and it just means that although they've got that defensive protection in that passive fortify, it doesn't necessarily mean it is going to help them win as many games as they would like. So watch out if you're running Team THICC. All right, we got 2 more, and this video is coming to a close, so I appreciate everybody watching. Let's get into it. The next one is Need for Speed. OCTANE and Pathfinder represent one of my favorite franchises back in the day as a kid. Remember that thing on PlayStation? Oh my God, I was rocking with that. This is probably the most aggressive lineup in the list right now, and when I look at these lineups, I think that who does it better? Who really does it better? Both can move across the map faster than anyone. Burst mobility is huge as well with the grapple and, of course, the jump pad that OCTANE provides. Both have verticality. They both have high ground potential, which is huge in late game circles and fights in general. And I honestly just feel like their pushing potential with good shots means that no other duo is going to be able to push the same way they do when they have an advantage. Remember, in Apex Legends, if you break a shield, that's a time to go. That's a time to push because they've got to fight you while healing, fight you with less health, or just run away. And OCTANE and Pathfinder put that pressure on better than anyone else. And they also got decent hitbox size. I mean, let's not forget about that. They're not the biggest, they're not the smallest. Pathfinder's a little wonky, OCTANE's a little bit average to smaller. I really like this combination. I think it's gonna be very, very fun, very strong, very aggressive. You want to get with your homie and say, yo, let's just run and gun. This, I think, is almost as good as Bangalore Bloodhound, but I think it's just a little bit more tilted towards no defense, all offense. Also, I think Path is the best solo legend in the game, so adding him to duos, it kind of makes sense to me that he's going to be very, very good. Now, the cons: no defensive traits whatsoever, no late game space control, Caustic cans, Gibraltar ultimates, even Bangalore with that rolling thud. There's nothing defensive you could really do with these legends. That is the big difference. You have zip lines and jump pads to get to better areas, so you're gonna have to play this smarter towards the late game. You will not have as many utility as some of the other legends. Now let's talk about the final duo here in Apex Legends, guys. We're coming to the end. Thanks so much for watching. Salt and pepper. That's right. Representing both flavors, vanilla, chocolate, whatever you want to say. We got a little Wraith and a little Lifeline. This is the Try Hard Squad, otherwise known as. If you sub Pathfinder for one of these legends, you could do that as well. But it's just honestly so funny because when you look at these legends, it's a great mix. It's a great balance in this team. They bring so much to the table, and they're essentially the 2 of the top 3-4 legends in the entire game, right? Obviously, you're seeing Pathfinder missing out of this thing. Aggressive with Wraith, that's something that you could do. You could push in, you have your invulnerability on your tactical to get out and get to safety. You've got great mobility in the portal that you can use to not only rotate, increase your speed while using your tactical to move with invulnerability while increasing your speed, and then get a burst mobility, burst movement to another area that's safe. But you could also do that for your teammate, which is one of the only safe movement locations for teammates in the entire game. Zipline puts you in an exposed position. Jump pad leaves you hanging in the air. Easy shot, sniper shots, easy shots for good players. This is really the best. Lifeline also provides great sustain, which synergizes really well with Wraith getting in, getting aggressive, and then all of a sudden, boom, comes back out, and then you got to go get some healing up with Lifeline. And the passive as well. It's that Gibraltar passive, 1.25%, 25% faster as far as healing and meds and things like that, and it really makes a difference, especially in 1v1s and now in 2v2s when you've got to clutch up for your teammate. Hitbox size, wonderful. The 2 smallest legends hitbox wise, essentially, although they get that 5% low profile, it's really not that big of a deal. They are the hardest legends to hit essentially in the entire game, so I think you'll be good with that one for sure. The other thing is the resurrection shield. In 1v2s, it's really awesome. Legends are going to have to expose themselves. If a team goes down, there's really no way to continue trying to revive them if the other teammates are alive. They can push you a 2v1, it's easy. But that resurrection shield means that if you're in a good spot and they have to cross easy open ground and maybe make themselves vulnerable, Lifeline could probably get a lot of reses off, and I think this is going to be a big deal. Wraithman maybe be able to get out of that. You have a lot of advantages with this team and being able to sustain, so that's one of the things that I'm very, very excited about with this legend combination. The balances of these amazing skills, the value of these 2 legends together individually, I think that's probably why they're going to be the best in the game. Obviously, no defensive skills, no low profile. When they get hit, they'll lose trades. No high ground access, which is an issue, and that is a con you'll have to worry about. And obviously, no burst mobility in the traditional sense. We'll give you some cons to that legend lineup, but that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Comment down below what you think I might have missed, any combos you're going to be using. I'm sorry, Mirage fans, yet again. I know I keep doing this to you, and of course, leave some questions and comments for the Q&A down below. As always, my friends, never give up, never stop gaming. I'll see you all next time.